This guy I've been knowing now maybe 3-4 years. Actually met him on the phone while he was incarcerated.
Through all this time, the Lord would always give me mentors. These mentors would come into my life. I would follow them around. They would get a parole. They would leave. They would go. They would come and go. Always under mentorship.
You know, I was looking to get some books into prisons, and I didn't realize how hard it was, how difficult it was to try to get anything. I didn't know how the system worked. I tried in Georgia for a long time. I called, nobody returned my call and all that kind of stuff.
The ODRC allows you to bring in guests from the community to prove that you're doing something.
I had a friend of mine introduced me to another friend of his, Mike, and we actually did an interview with Mike on our first podcast.
I had taken programs, I was there, I was changing, you know, I was doing some positive things. I went up to the parole board, they continued me 5 years.
And he said, man, you know, when it comes to reading and books and mindset and personal development, this is the guy you need to meet because he can help you whatever you're trying to do with the prisons. And Mike is from Cleveland, Ohio, and he told me about this guy I'm about to bring up, Mr. Lewis Fields. So I think Mike gave him my number. Yeah, he did, and he connected with me. He called from the location he was at, and we started talking. Man, this was during COVID, during the lockdown.
We all know what happened in March of 2020. Mm-hmm. The world shut down. This other thing, COVID came into our lives.
Lewis was charged with a murder, you know, doing a drug deal that went bad.
So I had 15 years with the opportunity of parole after 15 years.
Okay.
And on the other side of that 15 years was death. So if I didn't earn my parole, I would die in prison.
And he actually did 22 years incarcerated, which is, he went in at 19 years old.
So I said, wow, wait a minute. The Lord said, well, you was gonna bring them in here. But remember, I'm ready to put you out here. You go out there to them. I would meet a man by the name of Tony Fleming. He would record my growth and change. The story I've given you, this is the very shortened version. It's as wordy as I've been. Got over 12 hours to this about certain situations of my growth and change. Recording that and having that out there on Spotify and Apple with his mental toughness calls. You know, what Mr. Fleming was able to do was to show me myself and show me how important my story was.
Yeah.
And to be able to hear yourself is like amazing in storytelling and communication and media.
How y'all doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm well.
Good to see you.
See y'all. Good to see you.
All right, man. Talk to us, you know, like I said, about why you feel locking a person up, throwing away the key is not always the answer.
Well, the opportunity is up to the person. Once you commit a crime, it's your job to work towards freedom, if that's what you choose to do. So that opportunity is each individual's opportunity. You know, I believe life is always providing you opportunities through whatever the circumstances are. The things that you find difficult, the things that you find pleasant. It's always an opportunity. Everybody that has committed a crime owes. I believe in restorative justice. Restorative justice deals with the relationships that have been broken through crime, and that everybody is interconnected. The whole of society is interconnected because that's the only way society works. So even the criminals and the victims and the judges and the lawyers and those that have never committed crime, we're all in this together. So that's the reason why you can't give up on guys in jail, because the majority of us are coming home. Networks and people, relationships are everything. When I learned restorative justice, the whole principle is relationships. So like, even how I know you know. Relationship with Mike led to a relationship with Mr. Fleming. Mr. Fleming's relationship led to Miss Lisa Adams Horsley. And then that relationship led to you seeing something and saying, you know what? I'm gonna speak up for this guy. And you wrote a letter to me for the parole board, you know, which was very influential.
I was the letter. My letter is the letter that got you released.
They most definitely mentioned it. They most definitely mentioned it. It was most definitely influential.
Oh my God.
So the networking and the relationships were huge.
You know, speaking of those talks, man, I had Valerie send me some clips from the recordings that we did, because we played them all on our morning calls, and everybody was just glued to it, man. And I listened to it again last night, some of the clips. Man, the way that you presented and talked in, like you said, it was therapy for you. and you were really getting it out, man. I didn't even want to touch none of that. The things that you were saying, like Lisa got it, because she heard one of them. I can't even go back.
It was raw.
Yeah, it was raw. It was right. You were telling me stuff because I was digging up stuff. I was like, well, tell me this and tell me how that, because, you know, we went through the whole process. And man, I mean, yeah, you gotta listen to some of those again too, because those are powerful.
I want to give you a big up because when you talk about those records are priceless.
Mm-hmm.
You gave me an opportunity to hear myself. So you can go through a lot of stuff, but until you can hear it come out of you, you don't know what it is. You can't reflect because you can't go back and rewind it. You're gonna miss a lot of stuff. So, and you prepared me to be able to express myself to the parole board in a way that I never would have been able to do without that. And I thank you for that.
I've been placed in a place where there's nothing but hope. But it wasn't the environment, it was the perspective of my mind that was skewed. And I'm hating that. I'm in a place where there's hope and there's life, and I'm hating that because I'm working death in my mind. I become institutionalized. See how messed up that is, how sick that is.